we had prearranged signals that when he dove on a deer and wiggled his wings, that the nearest boat would come to him. And he just spotted one, and there's the boat going to him. We had 3 planes. Bobby Stossel, obviously, as I explained, flew one. Ray Rotenberg flew one, and Frenchie Hand flew one. There's Big John. What a monster. Man, I'd love to have him on my wall. He is a giant of a deer. What a trophy. Come on, Boater, get a little closer. I got him. Attaboy. Hey, I got him. What am I going to do with him? Hey, help me. I can't do this job all by myself. Now look at the hero in the back there. You catch him and I'll hold him. Or you hold him and I'll catch him. There's some guys coming over to help with Big John. They've already got their deer on the bow, but they're coming over to help us. It took everybody to get this job, this gentleman on the boat. He did not want to be caught. Yeah, there's Frenchie Hand. Frenchie got killed in an accident with Jack Elkins sometime after this. Very tragic accident off of Okeechobee Road over there by the turnpike. Stalled out. Those guys did a remarkable job landing on that levee with just enough room for their wheels, with rock all over the levee. They searched and then came back and gassed up. There's George Pepin. Yeah, I have lunch with George over at the Gun Club Cafe quite frequently, and we've talked about this film and invited him over to see it. There's a guy that did his share of work. I don't know his name, but he sure did a job. You know, sometimes we put the deer up on the bow and tied them. We tied their legs with soft cotton strips of rags so that it wouldn't be abusive to their legs. They'd been in water so long that their legs were tender. The hair had slipped off of their legs. So we had to be real careful how we tied their legs. There's a happy camper. I told you that the Game Commission didn't sanction this operation, but however, when they saw that it was so successful, they wanted to come down and get into the act. So they brought a helicopter down and outfitted the pontoons with a piece of plywood platform on the top, and they would take a deer and strap it to the platform and get into the act. These deer in their weakened conditions really put on a show. Look at the depth of that water. There's Alligator Alley in the background there. They put on a show. They do figure eights, double backs. They made a fool out of us in several instances. Come on, get a little closer. A little closer, Boater. Attaboy. There's something you don't see every day. That's part of history of this club. I want you fellows, you younger fellows, to take a good look at this and see all the things that it took to preserve hunting in this area. There's a ham. This is one of the guys we took such a close picture of, and I'm sorry to tell you I don't know his name, but he got his share of deer. Now there's George Pepin again. He's sacking this little one. We discovered that we could take some croaker sacks and put them in a sack and tie it up around their neck to keep from hurting, so that they wouldn't hurt themselves. The ladies at the dock back at headquarters got a big kick out of mitigating these deers and these little fellas. The Audubon Society sent a lot of people down, and so did the Animal Rescue League. A lot of ladies participated. They made lunches and did various chores on levee. There's Ray Rotenberg. There's a gentleman that looks like an outboard motor running through that water. Even in their weak condition, they were really, really agile. There's George Pespin. He missed him. I told you, George, you got to lead him. You got to jump in front of the deer, George, not in back of him. Now, if you want to know how to do it, watch this. Now, here's a professional deer catcher. Now, there's how you do it. You lead them. Now, that guy's got a body that's big enough to catch a deer. Look at the arms on that guy. The lighting wasn't ideal. Bob did a great job on this. We had a real bad thundercloud, and we had some bad weather, but basically it was pretty good. And now that I'm reminded, Bobby Klein and Billy Klein were struck by lightning on one of the islands. They got a severe jolt. They weren't seriously hurt, but they got a good jolt. Now look at this guy doing this little trick here. See if you know who it is. There's a hog. He's pointing him out. Now he's going to go catch him, but watch this. Whoop. Slips don't count. They know who that guy is? Bobby Klein. 31 years ago. He was a teenager then, and now he's an old man. Look, you see any changes in him? Oh boy, that's history. There's Norman Paget. Look at there. Norman knows more about South Florida wildlife than all of the biologists put together. He's lived off of wildlife. He's frogged and catfished and gatored, and he's now selling turtle meat. He's a great guy. He's loves the Lord, and he loves conservation, and he loves the outdoors, and he's still doing the same thing he's done all those years, and he's a great guy, and I invited him over here. I hope he's here tonight. There's some guys really busy at work. Everybody's busy. Everybody had a job to do. Deer coming in on every boat. Boats leaving and boats coming back in. We took 500 deer out of there in that operation. And they said it couldn't be done. The flood control tried to keep us out. The Game Commission wouldn't sponsor it, but we did it anyhow. And it was a big feather in our hat, and we put egg on the face of the flood control. There's Bob McDonald over there waving his arms around, telling everybody just how to do it. He ain't changed much, has he? Oh, boy.